Alec, you've been an investor on Marco Island for 10 years. You've seen things change. You've seen insurance, hurricanes. How has that changed your perspective on your investments here?
People still want to be on Marco Island no matter what.
Welcome back to Really Mary. Super excited. If you watched the first episode of Really Mary with Alec Rich from up north as an investor from Massachusetts, all the way down here to Marco Island, you're going to want to hear more. So, Alec, thank you for coming.
Thank you, Mary. Good to be here.
Alec, you've been an investor on Marco Island for 10 years. You have a huge portfolio up north. But in that 10 years, you've seen things change. You've seen things like insurance, hurricanes, the Surfside situation, which is horrible. How has that changed your perspective on your investments here?
So it definitely makes you think about where to place capital. However, with the value appreciation that I've realized in my existing portfolio on the island through the years, and still through the rentals, the demand is still there. People still want to be on Marco Island no matter what.
They do.
And this island, after every storm, which I've been here for all of them, as you know.
I love you for that.
We have hardened this island significantly, especially after each storm.
Right.
Everything comes back stronger and better. Mm-hmm. And with that, I have no problem placing more capital on the island because I know my investments are safe.
You know, you say something along that lines, and I remember Irma, which was in 2017, and I had evacuated. I'm going away from the island, and you were coming to the island, which I always was kind of crazy. You were sending me photos and videos of where you were watching the storm come in, and then you were boots or flip-flops in the sand right away. And that was a Cat 5 that hit us. And then, we got brushed with Ian. We've been brushed with Milton, 3 Cat 5s. And you as an investor are still standing strong with that. You come for every storm. You get on a plane and come down. Nobody's coming here, but Alec is. And tell me about that. Why is that? Because I know that that's where you want to be when these happen.
Well, number one is to protect my investments, get them as ready as they can be for the storm. Yeah. And also to help the island recover afterwards. As you know, with Irma, that was the most severe in the recent past.
Yeah.
And, I was here for close to a month after that, helping other friends and family, straighten everything out.
Right.
That one hit us pretty good. Yeah. But I see the level of what Marco was before and then how it was rebuilt after that.
Yeah.
And then Ian was a little bit different storm. It was a storm surge storm as opposed to a wind event. And we handled that one significantly better. And these recent ones, same thing. The island, we've gotten very used to this. We can handle this stuff. It's just another day on Marco now. And,
true.
That's why I have no problem keeping placing capital on the island.
And you did just buy something. This is November of 24. If you're watching it later, you just invested after 3 storms that came our way in more property. So you're really a man of your word. You keep doing the investment. Not only in hurricanes, but insurance issues, because I think from a standpoint of insurance, this area has really seen some things differently, and how you as an investor with properties that you don't live in full time and that you're also placed into some kind of a rental pool. What have you seen in insurance?
Insurance has been affected significantly. Mm-hmm. As you know, when you have leverage on the property, you have lender required insurance standards. And they have increased by a good amount. But, like anything, no matter what, you still have to figure it out. When there's a problem that arises, you don't take your ball and go home.
Right.
You figure it out. You hunker down, and there's always an option. There's always a solution. You just have to, pull up your bootstraps and figure it out.
Love that.
And, you roll up your sleeves and bang it out. There's always a way to figure it out. And that's where, the strength and the fortitude comes into play. Because if you can't handle it because it's significantly stressful, because we're talking tens of thousands of dollars.
Right.
With
and
a
the
portfolio like I have.
Yes. And yes.
It was tens of thousands of dollars over the past several years. And you have to absorb that. That's coming right from your bottom line.
And, you're still, at least making the kind of profit that you want, or if you weren't, you'd be selling these assets, maybe taking the tax hit. You're still balancing what's going out versus what's coming in.
There's good days and there's some bad days.
Yeah.
Like anything else. It's anybody that's in business knows that not every day you make money.
Right.
It is what it is. You got to take the good with the bad. And with these, the bad can compound quickly, and it takes a little bit longer to recover. But at the end of the day, when you average it out over the course of a year or a couple of years, to get over an event and get it righted, get the ship righted,
Yeah.
it's fine. We can't let a couple small events. You can't, to use your phrase, we can't throw the baby out with the bathwater.
No, can't.
And, you cannot lose scope of the big picture. You cannot lose the big picture.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and to that, we've had some other big picture things happen. Your Surfside was on the other coast, but it did affect every single condo in Florida for getting milestone inspection reports and looking at reserves. And anything above 2 stories, and you owned several of those buildings as well. Talk a little bit about that, because did you have to put in more reserves?
So there were definitely some properties that were affected, significantly by that. And that's another thing you can't foresee. You have no control over it, and you have to absorb it because your hands are tied through the association. Right. And the insurance companies that are willing to still write policies in the state of Florida after a catastrophe. And it's just another one of those things, like a hurricane coming through. It is, you have to, to use a baseball term, you have to keep your head down and dig. You can't let up. You have to keep moving forward and figure out a solution. And eventually, it has come up. We have had dues raised. There have been some assessments. But with that, there's a plan moving forward as well.
Right.
And you have to look at the revenue side as well, and not just mitigating expenses, especially these expenses that you have no control over. So time sometimes is the only tool that you have for these costs to be mitigated a little bit. And they are. It's still fresh. And I think, over the next year, a couple more seasons, that will be, hopefully there won't be another event with these regulations, because I think they might have been long over.
Or they needed to happen.
They needed to happen. Unfortunately, it was an event like that took place for the state to realize it.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Unfortunately.
I'm with you.
But they're all for the good. They are all for the good, the new regulations. They might, they came on fast and furious, but we'll get through it.
Yeah.
Like we do everything.
If you've heard one thing here, that is persistence. When you make money on the property is when you buy it. You're going to have some curveballs hit you. but you keep going through it. And here's a guy that could have taken his ball and taken all of his assets and moved him to Massachusetts, where he's from, but chooses to not only continue in those investments here, but add on to his portfolio. So if you're looking to invest in Southwest Florida, we'd love to help you, kind of walk you through the process, all the things that we know that we can help you through. Again, I'm Mary Bartos Group of Premier Plus, and my very dear friend, Alec Rich of Advanced Waste Companies up in Massachusetts, who's a phenomenal investor here in Southwest Florida. Look forward to seeing you.